don't know.
Wicked. God.
No.
God,
No. Fuck that.
this isn't going into it, so it doesn't matter.
It might do. I might use it as the intro.
Absolutely not. Just a quick warning, guys. This episode goes in depth on topics such as death, so viewers' discretion is advised. Please go to the timestamps if you wish not to listen to these segments. Thanks for listening.
Hello there, people, and welcome along to the Lads Lounge with Danny, JJ, and Ty.
Hello.
Sorry.
Hello.
I'm very tired this week, I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very tired. But as someone who's joining us on this podcast said, I'm too pretty to have any problems. Cheers for that. And that person in particular is a very good friend of mine, Shawn Burgess. How you doing, mate?
What's up?
So how's our week's been, boys?
Yeah, chill, man. Well, I've been babysitting Millie because she's ill.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I'm ill as well.
I'll
There's something going wrong.
I'll babysit you. Yeah, for real, man, for real.
But Ty's just everyone's doctor babysitter.
I am, yeah.
Dr. Bumford.
That's true. That's me.
Oh, that's a shoddy name.
Porn star, gay porn star name?
No, thank you.
But yeah, so this week Shawn is coming along. He's going to be talking about his life, his experiences. You can pull that face all you want.
So happy about talking about himself.
Yeah. Oh, he talks about himself all the time. I don't know why he's getting a little bit self-conscious about it when it's.
I think he's shy, guys.
I think he's
Camera's
shy. He's never shy.
I'm just not sure if, I might let something slip and get court-martialed by the time I get back.
But yeah, no. Really excited about this one. We've been talking about doing the podcast for ages, didn't we?
We have.
And then now I've had Shawn just clawing at me for weeks, being like, can I get on? Can I get on?
High demand, boys, we are. High
I
demand.
know. I know. But for those of you who don't know, and it's very likely that a lot of you don't, Shawn is a Bermuda citizen studying abroad law and is currently a daddy and military. So Shawn, starting off, I've got a few questions. How's it been, third year now? How have you found the experience of studying abroad, especially in the UK?
I feel like I can kind of empathize with most international students in that, unlike the average local UK citizen, I too do feel shafted. It's been a rough, unique experience. That's for sure.
Fair. Anything in particular that stands out as reasons to why you would say you've been shafted?
Oh, that's well, to start off with, I didn't get the student loan the way I thought I would.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been spending a lot of my savings as well as the money I've been making when I am back home on just trying to afford each year. So being in third year, I'm kind of happy that that's coming to an end.
How have you dealt with being away from home? Because it's different for us
Oh, it's
guys
so different.
here.
We're a whole new country.
It comes in waves, and to be honest, it's been a really big thing that I've had to deal with, not just in my personal or social life, but it's also become a thing that affects my romance. I don't know. Well, so I've over the 3-year period gotten into a relationship. It's lasted 2 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. But it's really affected that in that it's kind of opened everyone's mind as to how lonely it can be at times and how removed I can feel. Although I try my best and I do feel very welcomed. I've developed family over the years. Danny's really taken me in.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yes, comes and spends Easters.
Oh,
Yeah.
My nan gets him an Easter egg.
for real?
Yeah.
Wait,
And I
actually,
send her
love that
nudes
shit.
every night.
double. Oh, damn, I'm jealous.
Where's
This
mine?
26-year-old getting a fucking Easter egg.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love chocolate. We can't go wrong with chocolate.
Yeah, to be fair.
But being that Bermuda's so small, right? It's a very,
What's the population of Bermuda?
what I'd say maybe 60?
60.
60,000. Like,
Oh, I
I
thought you
thought it
said
was
60 people.
yeah. So it's like,
Fucking hell, it's a city.
They're all family.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. And so it's 63,000 or just below 64.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's 21 square. I think it's like 41 square miles.
Yeah.
Some number, yeah. It's really small. But it makes it very easy for me to feel unrepresented here, and like I don't see like a lot of my culture like anywhere.
Of course, yeah.
Like the closest I can get is just other Afro-Caribbean like folk.
Oh, so is it Caribbean or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Oh, really?
it's not exactly the Caribbean, but like that's the closest thing we have in culture. It's like very
okay.
much heavily influenced.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but it's been hard. It's been hard being away from my son. It's been hard being away from my family, and like
Is your son back in Bermuda?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We had plans to bring him out, but that kind of just fell through.
Mm.
Is that something you want to touch on? Because obviously I know,
Yeah.
but these boys
I'd love to hear more,
don't.
but
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
if you don't feel comfortable.
So obviously COVID was a very weird time for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I found myself being that, like, you know, I was in the military in a very unique position to continue to earn, where other people were like stuck indoors or like, you
Yeah.
know, without being able to earn money, without being able to like enjoy the quality of life that most people were like used to.
Mm.
I found myself being able to still earn money. I was like a frontline worker. We were tasked with making sure that everyone was sticking to mandates and that like the curfews were being kept to. So we had set up roadblocks, test sites. We were in charge of like a very
Shit. So
Yeah.
like quite thorough.
yeah. It was basically security for test sites, and just making sure that everyone was staying inside after hours during curfew. And it was a very fortunate time for me because
Did that take a mental toll on you, having to do all of that?
you have no idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea. You would think that, like, you know, being that we're soldiers, it would leave us. How do I put this? Bermuda Regiment, a lot of the members, and I don't want to shit on like my fellow soldiers. Like I've made friends and family within the army that like will last me a lifetime, but they're very much like the U.S. Marines. They fucking eat crayons. I swear to God, like they're so stupid sometimes. And during COVID, like there were like a bunch of people who otherwise had nothing else to do besides
Eat crowns.
So like they were left to their own devices, and you know how the internet went through that whole surge of misinformation. I was surrounded by idiots who believed that COVID was like a result of 5G towers.
Oh, like it was.
Oh,
a
shit, I
hoax
remember
or
that.
some shit.
Yeah, you remember that shit?
Oh
Mm.
God.
Oh my God. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, cell phones are causing COVID.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
radiation poison. And I'm just like, oh my God, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we weren't out on patrol, we were stuck on base. Like, you had to, like, isolate and shit. So it was what was supposed to be, like, a 2-week thing. Ended up being, of course,
How
like,
long?
four fucking months of just me being on base with these sweaty
Jesus.
talking nothing but absolute shit. I actually ended up getting like a couple tattoos on base because we had nothing else to fucking do, and I got some ink done, and I'm just sitting there. I have nothing but respect for the guy. Like, love him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he can come up with some very like deep shit, and we had like very smart conversations. But it's, you know, COVID, and guys are locked in, and all you have is basically like this weird paranoia that either the world's gonna end or that the government's lying to you. And of course,
Both.
yeah,
More or less.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just sitting there getting tattoos and trying not to piss off the dude who's literally taking a needle to my arm, who's talking about cell phones causing the end of the world.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That must have been really, like,
Yeah.
not stressful, like,
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to piss these dudes off because, like, you have to sleep next to them. And at some point, you're going to have to end up getting shut-eye. And you know the only thing that's going to stop you from being, like, I don't know. It's just like, there's only so much I knew I would be able to handle before I'd be just trying to strangle them in their sleep. And vice versa, because
Right.
I know I'm quite a character to have to deal with on a long-term basis. Just ask Charlotte, really.
Just me as well.
Yeah. You get your breaks. Come on.
To be fair, I think COVID was man-made, but I don't think it was a hoax.
Well, you think it was
Man-made.
man-made
What, from a lab?
for the purpose of a pandemic?
Well, I'm not sure in that aspect, but I think it wasn't like just an outbreak that came out of nowhere. I think it was like,
Pre-planned?
yeah, in a way.
I feel that people are... I feel like scientists... Like, everyone gives them, like, a really hard rep. Like, you know, because you're messing with, like, these byproducts. Or you're, like, chemically and genetically engineering, like, bioweapons and shit that it makes you above the rest. When really, it comes down to these are the exact same species of creature who you see out Thursday night at, like, 3 a.m. in Bath pissing on the sides of churches and shit. You gotta remember, they're the exact same species. Like, they're the exact same type of people.
of
And they
course.
will be prone to mistakes.
Of course, yeah.
So when you're fucking around with shit that will, like,
Yeah.
end
but
the population, do realize that it's the same margin of error.
It is going to
with
happen,
these
to be
people.
fair.
Yeah.
But you say, if we're going with like Ty saying it's man-made,
Yeah.
does it come from something leaking and getting
I feared it was a
out?
bat.
Getting out?
But
Yeah, it came from a bat.
yeah, someone
in
eating a
China or
bat or
something.
something like that, and it just went crazy. But obviously,
From what I've heard, like, the
Is this
the
from?
lab that it came from was actually... It was known to have these types of safety issues before. Like, a lack of mandates being kept to, or, like, you know, like, the safety issues when it came to, like, being able to quarantine. And, like, just quarantine policies if anything were to happen where, like, there'd be a breach or a leak. Whether or not that's true is, like, fuck, I don't know.
Is that from inside information?
No,
The army, or
fuck,
is that
no
just-
way, no. It's just, like, the same old Google shit, like,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought we was gonna get like a
No.
special-
No. No,
And
you're
then
not
he-
gonna get that off of me.
the
not
next
so
thing you
good.
know, he's dead. Like,
Yeah. Red laser on his face.
I end up telling you about, like, you know, hydrogen engines and how you can literally convert a regular gas car into one that runs off of water and produces oxygen.
That's
And
crazy.
then be like, oh yeah, Shawn was, like, found dead in his apartment 2 weeks ago.
So, obviously, the army,
Yeah,
being in Bermuda.
yeah.
What led to your decision to come into the UK to study when you could have had a lot of options? Why did you decide even to go into it when you probably had a very well-paying job in the army? That was...
A lot of them were actually intertied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, again, like I said, COVID was a very, like, weird time for most people. And I just found myself fortunate enough to benefit from it. And that, like, being in the army, we were, like, called mandatory service, and a bunch of very unique circumstances led to me coming into a bunch of money that obviously could not be spent because nothing was open. There was nothing to do, nowhere to go. And the only thing that I could basically do was either stay at home or put myself to work.
Yeah, fair.
And when you called in for mandatory service, when you it's embodied. When you're embodied, like called in for mandatory service, as a means to try to compensate you for it, your pay gets doubled.
Oh,
Jeez.
So what was supposed to be 2 weeks ended up being 3 to 4 months of me being in under double pay. All my meals are taken care of. You don't pay rent
So you
because
just saved it all. Fucking hell.
Can I sign up?
So I saw a lot of people spending their shit, like, immediately. Like, this dude I knew bought, like, a 3D printer and was like, yeah, just fucking going at it. Doing, like, this army is very much like a bunch of kids with guns. You give, like, a bunch of kids, like, a fucking bank account full to the brim of cash, and they're just going to buy childish shit.
Yeah.
And that's all it really was just people buying childish shit. And I wanted to do something it was actually around this time that I got the news from my girlfriend at the time, or I can't even remember if we were dating. I think it was coming towards the end of my relationship that she was pregnant.
No.
And this all happened while I was embodied. So I had to deal with this while in a goddamn barrack room
How did you feel?
full of people that I loved them, but I fucking despised.
Well, you spend like 4 months.
When you're with some people for that long, yeah.
Oh my
you'll
god,
go
it was
crazy.
driving me
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah.
Oh my god.
So how did you feel initially when you got the call?
Oh, fuck, is this, everyone else was like so scared about catching COVID and the effects and like the whole like thing. I thought I was gonna die, bro. Like I think I had like one of the first panic attacks I've ever had in my entire
Really?
life.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like you get that news and it's like as an unsuspecting father or as like an unsuspecting male, it's like the one thing that like no one can prepare you for.
How old were you at the time? Sorry?
I was 20,
20.
21.
Crazy.
2021, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was wild, man. I didn't know what to do. Like she was supposed to be on the pill without going into like details.
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
supposed to be like able to happen.
Mm.
And freak circumstances, negligence on her part led to this happening.
Also negligence on your part as well.
Johnny.
We can argue about this. We have argued about this.
Well,
Really?
sex is good, man. I'm sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not advocating unprotected sex. I'm just saying that if you're gonna do that, you gotta really trust your partner, man. And yeah, it's something I thought I could do. Anyway, yeah, I got that information in the midst of like a pandemic that everyone was dying from left, right, and center. I couldn't see my family, and like I was essentially locked up with pay for like 4 months,
Yeah.
and it takes a mental toll, man. It does. Like I saw people like. You guys ever read that book? Like, fuck, what's it called?
I don't read.
Oh, fair. Fair enough.
I've dabbled.
Yeah, no, you know, because like it was also a film, and I know you.
Holes.
No films.
Pig head covered in flies. Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I've read a lot of flies. Yeah.
I very much got to experience that firsthand.
In what sense?
In that
When people-
I watched society devolve.
Jesus.
And like from the inside of a goddamn military camp, and it didn't take long. Like there
Wow.
were fights that broke out between people who just
Right.
couldn't stand the way other people like breathed
Really?
after like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks, and like most people were either in relationships or like they were surrounded by people. There was mostly dudes that got called in, so then it becomes very much like pent up aggression from not being able to like
Yeah, I get it.
Fair.
and like you watch it all devolve. You watch like people become the worst versions of themselves.
That's sad in a way.
Yeah. Because, like, you heard a lot of, like, these stories of people reconnecting with family during COVID and, like, figuring out, like, maybe, like, this whole work-life balance thing has been very toxic and that I should spend more time trying to get to know my family because you never know when something like this should just come in and, change your entire life.
That's true.
And I'm listening to these people and I'm seeing this shit, like, and I'm just like, oh, great. I'm happy someone's getting a positive experience out of this because I'm literally surrounded by people who are, like, just a snap away from fucking strangling each other.
Yeah.
Devolving to be like, I don't like the way you chew your food. Yeah, I was very much in that headspace where I was trying to keep my shit together.
Oh, yeah,
So
fair.
having that come down the pipe was,
Just that all the way.
yeah, it crushed me.
Yeah.
Then again, there was silver lining in that, like, I had people, because there were people that in the army that drove me fucking insane, but you also develop, like, this sense of brotherhood, and you
Yeah.
pick your people, and, like, very much my boss, like, at the time, and, like, one of my best friends, Fertz, like, they kept my head on my fucking shoulders, like, they wrenched me, fuck's sake did they wrench me. But, like, they're like, bro, like, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. I mean, arguably. And even if it was, like, you ain't got much to worry about later.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
yeah. So they kept me grounded very much. Like, my boss was, like, Jesus, he stood in like a father figure for me, and essentially was just like, look, man, you dumb as fuck for doing this, but you know, you're not in this alone. You got people to help you through it. It's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you're in a very unique position right now where, you know, this news has come down, and, you know, you can either see it as the end of your life or the start of a whole new one. And it really motivated me to try to get my head on straight.
That's good.
Yeah. I found myself in a unique position where I had, like, the funds to now do something new and do something that would benefit not just my future, but the future of my child as well.
Is that why you chose university?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a big thing because I knew I have this thing in the back of my head where, like, anything that the government gives me, whether it be a paycheck or like pension or whatever, it's not really mine. They're gonna get it back somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
And I knew post-COVID, all that money that they gave out like, I think within the first month, like $1.5 million in pay to the people that were embodied. They were gonna get that money back.
Oh yeah.
Some way, shape, or form. They'd figure out a way to do so.
Yeah.
It was just the rise of
Raise tax rates, prices.
Tax evaders. You should do that, guys.
It's kind of hard to do in Bermuda. They don't have any tax, really.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
tax haven, by the way, just in case you guys were thinking. But, like, yeah, the prices of everything rose. Like, it became so hard to
It's
make
one of
a
the most
living.
expensive countries in the world, isn't it?
Literally,
Wait,
top,
really?
yeah.
Bermuda.
Yeah, the cost of living in Bermuda is the
Shit.
highest of any country.
Really?
The question is, how much is a pint in Bermuda?
This is the real stuff we
Yeah.
need to know.
Such a UK question.
It is.
Fuck, yeah, I'd say about, like, $10 bucks.
Nah,
Jesus.
nah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
Fuck
absolutely not.
Yeah, you thought London was
crazy.
bad, bro. Like, no.
Oh, that makes me laugh. Do you remember when we went down for the first time, and when you and me are sat along the South Bank having a pint of Peroni?
Oh, that, yeah,
And it was
that
like
Peroni,
it was like
bro.
really crisp, really nice. And then it was like we sat there, it was like £6. It was like that's just about the same as Bath.
Yeah, it
And you
is.
turned around, it was like the prices like in Bermuda. It was like,
It's so
Huh?
much worse, yeah.
How did you guys meet?
how did we meet?
Yeah.
So, I remember being dropped off on the first day of uni,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had a face like thunder because I was tired. I wasn't entirely enthusiastic about the idea of coming to uni.
Did you not?
No.
No, he was going through some shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it was back end of COVID as well, so I was like,
Oh, right,
I
Yeah, yeah.
kind of lost my entire being in that being a.
Was this the time you had a breakup?
I think you said
He
you
was
brought it up
he
a
was
couple of weeks ago.
literally in the midst, like, it was setting up for it, yeah.
Right.
They
Right.
started going through the
Oh,
troubles
okay.
because
Yeah.
of the split, yeah.
So and the first day I got up, I walk up to the SU to have a nose round and things like that, and then him and our friendship group from first year were all up there playing pool and that, and then he was like, "Sup, dog? Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "You alright?" Because I was like,
Yeah.
I was just stood there and like, this dude, he's come up to me out of nowhere trying to bother me. Got my London head on, so I don't talk to anyone anyway, normally.
Is this when you had long hair as well?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
It's actually funny that you say that, because, like, he's, like, got a face like thunder, and I just remember the first thing, like, immediately when seeing him, I was like, this is the most pretty man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Stop it, you're making me blush.
dick.
Fuck. It's a part of my culture. Like, if you see people that you know, or if, like, we're very polite.
Right.
We used to be run off of tourism, so, like, it's very much a respect-based culture. You see someone, even if you don't, like, know them, like, very well, if you remotely, like, recognize someone, if you just make eye contact with someone in general, you give them a good, like, head
Look.
nod, you get,
I wish it
"Hello,
was
good
like that here,
afternoon."
man. I wish it was
Yeah.
like that.
It is in
People just
Wales.
Blank you.
My first couple weeks being here, like, I made a reputation for myself, bro. Like, I literally just went up and down the street, like, from, like, here to Gardens, just
Yeah.
like, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good morning. People would just, like, look at me, then look away, like, I said
Yeah.
fucking good morning, hello. Like, yeah, we get back home,
Do you know what that reminds me of?
get vicious.
Eddie Murphy coming to America.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love,
we-
I love that film.
Bro, we got vicious with the shit. Like, it was like the most hostile, like, politeness that
Yeah.
you could think of.
Fair.
Be like, I said good morning. Yeah, you better speak when I speak to you.
Yeah. No, and then I think I was having like a bit of like, my first year flat wasn't very social in some aspects, so
Yeah.
I kind of just went on my own path and found
You was in Pope, wasn't you?
different group, yeah,
Yeah.
and different groups,
Yeah.
and
I lucked out, man. Langton was the squad.
yeah,
Mm.
Well, like
Proper
Freya
spot.
and all them.
Was that the
Kyle?
one by
Yeah.
the? Was that the one by the washing machines?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that little square,
Yeah.
and we all just got really close. We had like people over in Hiscox who I live with now, like Nick and Christian and things like that, and then it really set us up really well for the 3 years.
Yeah.
Because it was like we had actually found our people, sort of thing, and we was all there for each other.
Mm.
You know, I think that's the biggest thing that you and me found anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
in
It was
our
a
friendship.
lot of in all honesty, I'd kind of already been through it all, right?
was about to
Or
say,
how
yeah,
I was
quite
starting
similar
to
to-
go through all the shit, like, you know, long distance things and all that. Then my son had just been born, and like I was more motivated than ever to like make something of myself.
Mm.
So what do you want to do after uni?
I was going to ask you that.
Oh, yeah,
So
I'm trying to
what are the
practice,
plans
bro.
after? Because
I'm trying to practice. I'm hoping to become a lawyer.
Are you going to do a master's?
Yeah, I was hoping to qualify so that I'd had like, you know, better chances of employment here as well.
Yeah. I know it's really hard in law to become a lawyer because first of all you have to do like 10 years of what's the thing below a lawyer? It's literally a lawyer, but it's called a different thing and you get paid less. Solicitor or something like that.
That's the type of lawyer.
Yeah, but
You mean paralegal?
that's the one.
Yeah, you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to do that no more.
Really?
No, and it was never. I don't think it was ever 10 years. Like, it was like a year of like understudy. You had to like shadow in different like.
Well, I heard it
aspects
was
of
like
the law.
5 to 10 years because like it's obviously quite serious, like a lawyer. Do you know what I mean?
You have to take a degree.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that,
Right.
and then you have to pass your. You have to qualify if you want to practice as a lawyer. You got to take either your SQE or your like BCAT. I think it was.
Fair.
Now I think they're telling you got to do either. I think it's just the SQE now, actually.
Fair enough.
And you had to take a different one depending on whether or not you wanted to be a barrister or a solicitor. Solicitors are the nerds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the ones
Actually.
that like yeah they do most of the research, and like to be honest, it's probably one of the better positions, solicitor, because like you can kind of act in both roles, where a barrister will be the one that represents you in an actual courtroom.
Oh, okay.
So barrister's the one that just like suits or any other like
Yeah.
my cousin Vinny.
Mm, yeah.
Barrister.
Yeah.
Very much barrister type stuff, like where they
Marissa
stand up there
Tomei, a young Marissa. Oh, mate. Ah,
and they represent you in court.
I
Like,
thought a barrister was like a judge, but because obviously
No, that's a
judge is
judge.
no, I know that, but like because
The
they're
barristers
obviously
are
up
the
on.
one with the funny wigs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Where the solicitors are the ones very much doing like the legal research. They can give you advice and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like barrister can too, but a solicitor can't really represent you in court.
oh, fair. enough.
Barrister is more of the one that puts on the show in the courtroom, so they go up
Yeah.
and ask the questions to you and the opposing side.
Oh, yeah. I
So,
I
like-
know nothing about law.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's alright. To be honest, like I'm 3 years into this degree and I still don't know what the fuck is going on.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, plans after uni, we've discussed that. Where do you actually see yourself like going? Is it a back to Bermuda job, or is it a stay in the UK to
In all
practice,
honesty,
or is it that way you can be with your family?
I go where my son goes.
Fair.
First and foremost, like this is the reason I got into this whole thing. Like I didn't know whether I was gonna do law, business, whatever the fuck. All I knew is that I had to do something that was gonna put me in a position where I could provide a better life for him, at least better than the one that I had.
But I imagine there's probably certain people's point of view, you say that, but you left your son at the same time.
I did what I had to. The
Well, so
plan was
from your-
always to bring him.
From your ex's point of view, I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, maybe. Issue is that it's a bit.
But even some of my family members did question that as well when we
Oh, really?
sat. Do you remember with like
Yeah.
being sat around?
It's a question that people ask me all the time, and in all
Yes.
honesty, I have no real way to explain it besides just saying that leaving every year is the hardest thing that I could ever do. That first time, it'll never be. I don't want to say it'll never be as hard because it's equally hard each year seeing my son. I think that's the hardest part is coming back, seeing him at the airport, and knowing, like noticing the changes and noticing that the boy that I last saw is gone.
Does it feel like when you're with him, it feels like borrowed time? Because it's not
hard, man. It's like I can't stand to be away from him, but at some point, because I know that I have to leave, it becomes hard to even want to be around him because I'm gonna break. I know it's eventually I'm gonna break my heart again.
Yeah.
Are you worried that it's going to put strain on your relationship with him when it comes to him?
I used to stay up at night over that, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be a really big thing for me. Like, sleepless nights, I used to cry, have nightmares about it, about him not noticing or recognizing who his dad is. But I know it's... Every time I see him, like, his fucking face lights up and, like, he runs up. Yeah, I'm like,
I
God,
when I
I
see him on the FaceTime with you, he's like, Dada!
Oh, my God.
Do you do that quite regularly, like FaceTime him?
We try.
When you
Well,
can, yeah.
I'm trying. We're trying to work through it. Me and his mom now.
Right.
To be honest, and it seems to be a lot better.
Are you friend? Like, not friends, but are you civil?
We try. We
Yeah.
try for his sake.
Of course, yeah.
In all honesty, it was rough. It was very much rough at first because it was raw. You know, emotions were very high, and like the situation was very much still chaotic. Like plans had fallen through. Like I said before, like the plan was always to have him here.
In Bath.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, just with me, just like
Yeah.
here to access. Like, the original plan was to get into uni.
Did that.
Clearly done, yeah. And then I had actually saved up enough cash to get her out here, her and him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like the plan was to get her out here, him out here, and like if she wanted to study, she'd study, and we didn't even have to be together. It's just like so long as I could access my son, like I'd pay for whatever, bro. Like,
What, she refused?
I was going to say that fell through because
Yeah.
she refused.
Was it a factor? Was it the fact that she didn't want to leave Bermuda, or was it
I don't know. In all
she never
honesty,
gave you an answer? Or
I don't know. I talking to her about this is still something that I feel like might be a bit tricky to do because like her emotions will get involved and like it can be very raw and like the answers change. But all I know is that she's always been very hesitant to take these types of leaps. And when I was with her, she had the opportunity to go to uni, but she stayed, and it was very much like this whole blame game as to, oh, well, I couldn't leave you. I'm like, yeah, you could. It was to the point where I was pushing her to do so. It's like, this is whatever benefits you benefits me, and like whatever time you think we're gonna spend apart, whatever like insecurities or like doubts you might have, put them to bed, because like you got to do what's best for you, and if you feel like I'm in the way of that, you need to let me go. And yeah, but she never really took these leaps, and it was very much a, well, you were never ready, and I'm like, well, okay, well, fair, and I took that on a lot, and it was also a big drive as to why once I finally came into the money from COVID, I was so adamant to do it. Like, I needed it. I felt up until that point my life was like routine, going nowhere. Like it's just like work, home, maybe gym. And I had no real aspirations, no real direction or motivation to change anything about my life.
but you're feeling now that you've got a direction, you've got a
Oh
hope?
my God. Having a kid was probably it's the scariest fucking thing in my life. For sure.
I
But
can assume it feels nice in a way, but it's also scary as fuck.
yeah. It's nothing will give you a sense of purpose more.
Wow.
I can guarantee it. Like, holding that baby for the first fucking time. Jesus Christ, my body flushed. I didn't sleep for 2 days, man.
What,
When
like,
it was bought, or when you first...
Yeah,
held it?
yeah, like fresh out the hospital, bro. Came home and I didn't sleep a wink, bro. I used to just
Was
sit
that just because
there.
of a mix of emotions, or like?
I was watching him. It was so weird.
was just
I
watching him
I
the time,
unlocked
yeah.
like this weird primal like
Yeah.
version of myself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like watching my kid. I'm just like, I gotta protect, gotta protect him. She'd
Wow.
wake up in like the middle of the night, and I refused to go home. And she's like, "What the fuck is going on?" She just sees my eyes gleaming in the dark. She's like, "Shh, you'll wake the baby."
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's like, I don't know. It's weird because like I look at other people's kids and like I'm a very blunt asshole of a guy.
Yeah, you are. I'm joking.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair observation. So when I tell you, if I were to look at you and say you were to have a kid, if you have an ugly kid, I'm going to tell you. It's like your fucking child looks like a Martian. And I could admit it, my baby looked like it's like if you tried to make a potato out of Play-Doh.
Jesus Christ.
I've seen the pictures. It's accurate.
Yeah.
It was like,
It
yeah,
was-
he was like that for like a couple days. Just like, it's like, you ever seen like a pit bull puppy? And they're just all
Oh,
wrinkles
yeah,
and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was
think
very
a-
much like a hairless pit bull.
I don't think a baby ever does look like.
Cute.
Yeah. When
But
it
if,
first comes out.
and
Sometimes
I could honestly
They grow
look
into
at
their
someone.
cuteness.
Yeah.
And if it
obviously.
was anyone else's kid, I would agree with you immediately.
All right.
But the moment he came into that world, like, if someone were to tell me that my kid looked ugly, I'd bury you.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, you just see me outside like the next day, like trying to reshovel the lawn. And they're like, what's going on? It's like, oh, nothing, I'm just laying some asphalt. Meanwhile, it's George from across the street who just so happened to mention something about my son. And I don't know, it unlocks like this weird side of me where I was just like, yeah, no, I got to do any and everything for this kid. And yeah, it's a big part of me coming out here. And like, I was so adamant. I was just like, yo, like I put everything to the side. Like people were telling me all the time, it's like, yo, are you sure you're willing to take this girl, like, with you? I was like, what do you mean? It's not about her.
Was the relationship
Where she goes, he goes.
Of course.
Was the relationship being strained in the lead up to that though? Like you deciding to come to the UK, come to study, did it start to feel strained, or was it always on the rocks? Or
She was never really honest with me about how she felt, which made it hard for me to make an informed decision. Because very much what was coming out of everyone's mouth is that you have to do this. Like, you got to go get your degree at the very least. Like, you'll be able to get a better paying job, you know what I'm saying? It could be in any fucking thing. Just go do something. Bring something back. Bring that fucking piece of paper back and grab yourself a nice job that'll allow you to have a good work-life balance so that you can afford to spend more time with him. Because as it stood, I was working like 16-hour days, bro.
Damn.
I was doing security nights as well. So I was working 3 jobs right up till COVID. And I was like a bartender at this club called Bulldogs. But no, Doghouse. Sorry. It's a club called Doghouse. I was doing security, like nights watching properties or doing like, it was very much during the touristy seasons. I was like watching the cruise ships and stuff, making sure the passengers got off safely, got back on, and that no one was trying to fucking blow up the boats.
Yeah.
And then I was working at the army as well, like whenever they had the oddball job to do. It left me very strained and
tired,
yeah,
drained.
Can imagine.
yeah. And post the lockdown, I went right back to doing that because now that I had this money, was pregnant. I understand what they mean. Like, I get, is it Jay-Z or Kanye? I can't fucking remember. More money, more problems. Fuck, someone's gonna wrench me over that later. But I understand it. I understood it then more than ever because I was never really so much afraid to lose money than when I had it.
Do you work now, or are you
Yeah,
just... Yeah.
I'm actually working 2 jobs now.
Is it?
Yeah, just recently started working at Sub 13.
Yeah. I know.
Ladies.
Ladies.
And Pizza Express was like the other job. It was the first job I got
Okay.
when I
cool.
got here. But yeah, I was never. I had to make the money, and I was sacrificing my health, my time, like my relationships with people, like began to degrade because no one got to see me, and it was hard, because she's like, I want you to be present, and I was like, well, it's either I'm here, and we're broke, or we're making ends meet, and you never see me, and that's all I could afford with like just a high school diploma, Yeah. So when lockdown happened, I got all that money. I started diversifying my income. I started doing like currency exchange, which don't let anyone fucking lie to you. It is gambling. I just so happen to be really good at it. But yeah, I started investing and like trying to diversify my portfolio, my sources of income. I tried to make my money or my time most worth the amount of money, because I was just like, I need to start investing in my future, my kids' future, and like setting up for all this shit. And I was just tired. It's like people pulling me left, right, and center. She was telling me I should probably go back to school. You know what I'm saying? Her family, my family, we're both like, yeah, no, this is the best thing for everyone. I was like, well, I'm not going if my kid's not coming with me. So I set up for everything. I started helping her look at schools, looking at programs. Like, the idea was actually to get her enrolled in Bath Spa at first. Very much artsy-fartsy type girl. So she wanted to do, like,
She would have fit right in here then.
Yeah, she wanted to do something art-related.
Something down at Locksbrook.
Yeah.
And, she was liking what she saw. And then it went from, okay, well, I don't want to study at Bath Spa, actually. I want to study in London. I was like, okay, cool. We'll look at it. Don't worry, like I'll find a place either between, or like I'll even get you a spot up in London. Like, I'll get you hooked up with like housing and everything. I'll
Travel down.
Yeah, travel down. I was like, I understand London's like a very expensive place, but I wasn't planning on like stopping work. Like, I was like, okay, well, if you're going to London, then I'll apply for stuff in London. I'll apply for stuff in like the area, and it's like I applied for business programs. I think basketball was the only place that offered me a law degree, but like it was very much, I got accepted for a bunch of different business like programs and stuff. And the last minute, right before I was due to go, I stopped and I was like, okay, I've been given an offer to study law in Bath. Is this something that we're doing? Like, I know it's hard. I know it will be scary. It will be hard at times. But I'm not going to do this unless, like, I got you on board. Fuck everyone else. I won't do it unless, like, you think this is something that we can manage. And she was like, you'd be a fucking fool not to.
Damn.
And I was like, so you're coming out? And she's like, yeah. Just give me, like, 6 months. So at first it was like, okay, do it, and we'll go together. The moment I paid, like, my tuition, she hits me up, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to need, like, 6 to 8 months, maybe a year. And I was like, okay.
Just when you're out here.
No, it's right before. And I was like, a week before I'm due to go. Like, I paid for my tuition a week in advance to my flight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck. And I'm seeing it. I'm already made it up in my head that, like, yeah,
she's not going to go.
Fucking coming.
No way.
And, like, yeah. I get out here, and lo and behold, she gives me calls. You were, like, prone to some of these, like, she'd give me calls throughout the year. I'm just trying to study, like, do all my shit. And I get calls from her being like, oh, this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, yeah, what was supposed to be, like, a couple months turned to a year, and from a year to, like,
But you wasn't together at this point, though, either.
No. We weren't together at all. Like, when Zay was born, we weren't together.
What's his name?
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. She definitely saved his ass on that one. I had so many weird fancy white names picked out.
What was you going to call him?
I was going to call him Octavius at one point.
Octavius?
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah. And I was thinking Xavier. No, sorry.
Xavier.
She thought Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah, so that's why we gave him Xavier. But
We're all inclusive, guys. I promise.
Yeah.
It's just Tyler. He's from a third world country called Wales.
Third world.
yeah, I actually got that a lot when I went to the U.S. I've been to the U.S. a few times, obviously. But, like, yeah, I got that a lot when people found out I was from like Bermuda. The most like outrageous question I ever got was like, "Do you know what Wi-Fi is?" I was like,
That's crazy.
"It's like I just assumed you guys all lived in mud huts." I'm like,
What?
No way he said that.
Damn.
I was like,
Oh my days.
you know, Steve Jobs has a house there, right?
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Damn.
like
Well, he
or
did.
whoever the fuck, whoever the fuck
Oh
owns
yeah,
this shit.
he's dead.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the time, I was like,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs has a house there, bro. It's like, it's literally where the rich go to feel like normal people. It quite literally is. Like,
What was
It's
everyone
crazy.
rich in Bermuda?
yeah, Bermuda's like, it's a tax haven. So people like start businesses and like they put money into it. Like, insurance is really big right now in insurance. It's what runs our economy. It's just like corporations being basically founded there. They'll have like this tiny corner space office, right? And they'll pay like thousands of dollars for it a month.
You use dollars.
Yeah,
Do you use
Bermuda dollars.
American? Oh, Bermuda dollars.
Yeah, but it's on par, so either one's accepted.
Oh, fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, the U.S. dollar is traded in synchronicity with the U.S. So, what's
Fair.
up? Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, they'll pay to have their companies set up there just so that they can avoid like certain types of tax.
Damn. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
You'll notice, like, I don't know if you guys are like really keened in on any movies where like there's like yacht scenes or like TV shows where there's yachts. There's almost always a Bermuda flag being flown.
I don't know the Bermuda flag.
Oh, it's lit. We got like lions and shit, bro.
The Welsh flag's better though, easily.
You say that, right? It's the only it's the only British overseas territory or colony that shares the red pigment. Every other one is supposed to be blue. It's a symbol of the rich and powerful.
Fair.
It's got lions.
That's
bro.
a beautiful country. Oh my
It's
god.
fucking Narnia, bro. Yeah,
Pink
it is.
sand.
Pink sand.
Wait,
Big
really?
thing. Yeah, pink sand, bro. Pink sand beaches.
Okay. Can we get into the topic of the triangle? Of like
Yeah,
the boats and the
Someone
planes?
explain this to me because I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just an area of like, well, I say land, it's in the ocean, that for some reason or another things always go missing in.
Yes.
Yep, there it is.
Like
Touches off, the tip of Florida and, Puerto Rico.
like boats, planes, and stuff just go missing for no
Yeah,
reason.
they've
What,
been
all the time?
Yeah, it's been tracked since World War II.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Have you heard some of the conspiracy theories behind it?
there's got to be so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
sea creatures at first. It was
Really?
like yeah.
Sea creatures, I think.
Portals to like different
Portals, yeah.
dimensions and shit.
So the oldest ones are very much like spottings of like sea creatures, like giant
Krakens.
and
Rawr.
yeah.
Wow.
I even got like a Loch Ness monster thing once.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like,
Another
well,
one is like spaceships or something, or like there's something underneath
Yeah,
the water that
yeah, but
disrupts signals and everything.
apparently it's supposed to be like you get theories from geomagnetic like poles being interrupting with people's like instruments and stuff. World War II, there were like people saying they see like bright lights and shit when they fly through the area, or like their instruments go hazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, and there's like for the ships and stuff, there was like a theory that it was caused by underwater volcanoes, like gas pockets being released from like the earth, and that it would create like these gas pockets that would make the water, once it ruptured or hit the surface, it would make the water. Sorry, I just put my hand.
That's all right.
Like, it make the water cave in,
Oh.
like a cavitation bubble,
Yeah.
and then it would swallow ships and like just crush them.
Damn.
And the sudden change when it got up high enough, it would interrupt with planes, change like a sudden density in the air because the gas is just so, it would disrupt the air, make the current change, or like the pressure in the air would change, which would create like a dip and basically cause a vacuum sucking planes out the air.
It's crazy.
So
right?
there's 83 aircraft have been declared missing since 1948.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The amount of ships and shit, bro, it's crazy. We actually have a shipwreck right off the tip of the island that it's now illegal to go on,
What?
but it marks where the Bermuda Triangle starts, and there's a part of a thing because it's a very touristy thing. My girlfriend came down this summer, and I took her on like a jet ski ride around it, and then we technically swam through the triangle.
Oh wow.
Well,
He goes back, he's getting nicked.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to go on the shipwreck. You can't fish around the area, and yeah, it's like a $10,000 fine if you're caught fishing.
Jesus.
Yeah, within
Why?
like a 5-mile radius of the wreck.
What's the
Is
reason?
that
It's a
because of its
landmark.
reputation, or is that like why is that?
No, it's a national treasure now. It's like a landmark.
I see.
It's
okay.
like a very ancient. There's a couple of them, like shipwrecks around the island, and of course within the actual triangle. But like they're considered like a part of Bermuda's history now because they're
Right.
so old, and you're not allowed to dig them up. There's actually a property which has a shipwreck on it. It's like it's got its own private beach, and you can like pull up and you just see like basically the frame of a ship,
Damn.
and they're not allowed to move it. And it, as a part of like I guess the inconvenience, the government actually pays them to keep it,
Oh shit.
Right.
so it increases like the value of the land. So this dude's just got this house on one of the tinier islands, and like as a part of his private beach, he gets like this national history
That's pretty
artifact
sick.
there. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Because
Was this the Malaysian Airlines thing? That wasn't that, was it? Or,
No, it wasn't.
no, okay.
No, that was aliens, bro.
That was
Was it?
aliens.
Convinced.
That or like the U.S. government. No, something.
So, what would be your favorite conspiracy theory out of it? Like, what do you enjoy? Because it's so.
Oh, I
You
enjoy
get
it
it all the time.
more than-
what is it like the Bermuda Trial? So is that,
more than explaining the triangle itself. I like fabricating stories of me going on adventures through it.
really?
Yeah, the same dude, believe it or not, the same dude who like asked me if I lived in a mud hut.
Mm.
I ended up telling him that I befriended a great white shark named Zazu, and that he would help
Great
me. He would help me navigate the Bermuda Triangle because, like, you know, it's a shark and he's got like this weird innate sense to be able to detect like danger in the water or like chemical changes, and he knew how to get me in and out.
And he believed it?
And he fucking ate it up. Bro, it's like I rescued him as like a pup. Like I was just like, you know, on my boat, my little skip in the middle of the water, and I see like this fucking great white shark pup just wrapped up in like a net or fishing line, and I freed him. And every now and again, like I'd go back to the same area, and he'd see me, you know, he'd bring me like dead carcass as a thank you. And
Wow.
like as the years
Like a
passed, he
cat.
got big, and like you know,
Like
I
a
used to ride on his back, kind of like you ever seen like Free Willy or Shamu?
Oh,
And this
yeah.
dude is eating up every line. I swear to God. And I was just like, yeah, the story just gets worse and worse. And I got like other people who are with me, right? Because it's like the student exchange thing, right? Students from all around the world. So I've got other like Caribbean students sitting there trying their best not to laugh.
Yeah.
And this dude's just like slack-jawed, eating up every word.
Got Atlantis.
Atlantis is
That's
in
a-
the Bermuda Trial.
Yeah.
Hey, don't shit on Atlantis.
No,
bro.
I'm not
That's a big
shitting.
one.
I'm
It
not
was one of
shitting
our
on-
parishes, I swear to God.
Yeah. Well, what about that one? Atlantis is still the secret city, still live and kicking underwater. What's your opinion on that one?
It would make sense.
Yeah?
It would make sense.
So you're believing in
You
fish
generally
people?
think there's an underwater city.
Under the sea.
Or
To be fair,
could it-
what's the
or
thing?
could
It's
it
like
be that it's like the civilization sank, and then they was
How
more
much of
advanced.
Earth is covered in water?
that-
90?
I was about to say
90,
they
95?
they haven't discovered like 90%
Like,
of
what's
the
the
ocean.
odds?
or 95%.
And let's be honest, like,
Scary, isn't it?
you know how the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon was formed, right? It
No.
was a giant lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then when the Ice Age, apparently, don't quote me on this, but when the Ice Age like happened, you know, the ice started to melt, the ice cap melted. It was like a giant fucking ice wall that just melted, gave way, and just the amount of water that came rushing out of this giant lake carved the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
Damn.
Jeez.
And that's what formed apparently one of the oceans, or at least helped form like.
But
one of the
it
oceans.
does make sense as to why. If you say Atlantis, it's always been theorized that it was a
Yeah.
more advanced civilization that just fell to
Yeah.
like global changes.
There are worse theories to have. Let's be honest. Like we all know, like the whole Pangea thing.
The what?
Pangea, so
Don't
the
know.
one big continent, and then it was.
Supercontinent. Everything that we have now was all one landmass.
So it's
Oh,
like-
yeah, yeah, I
and that's
know.
why they always say like Africa is the center of the world, sort of
Right,
thing. Like
yeah.
everything
Yeah,
comes from
yeah,
Africa
yeah.
because it's the biggest not the biggest continent, but it's like if you look at it on a map, it's always the center,
Yeah.
and you break it away.
Technically,
You can fit all like
yeah, I know, yeah.
countries and everything all on one.
technically, the volcano that created Bermuda was once a mountain. So, like, land masses rise and fall throughout like the span of time. There's no saying that there couldn't have been a city that once existed that is now currently underwater. There are like.
Well, you
far
look
more
at it the
far-fetched
same way, like
theories.
you've got the in South America, Aztecs and things like that. The cities that are there, but it's now all overgrown and hidden by bush and trees.
Isn't there a city in Italy that's like slowly flooding?
Italy.
Is it Italy? It is Italy.
It is Italy.
Yeah.
I thought it was
As
Venice.
in Italy is like
Venice.
built on Italy in itself is goddamn sea level.
But it's just like slowly like.
Venice, I think. Yeah.
Venice is
yeah.
Venice is the one that's slowly going up.
Yeah.
That's basically all of Italy though. It's just like at sea level.
What else have we got for like Bermuda Triangle
I mean,
theories?
It's kind of what we've touched on already, but we've got
Aliens.
alien abduction.
Alien. So
Aliens, bro. I get that all the fucking time.
We've got time warps and vortexes.
Yeah. The vortexes thing I can speak to. That's true.
What do you mean?
As in like, basically water tornadoes.
Oh, so like
Right.
sink, like a massive sink is just like
Just, yeah.
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 There's
I've
Percy
seen a
Jackson
couple
shit.
of them. I've seen a couple of them.
Oh, Percy
personally.
Jackson's so good.
Got electronic fog.
Yeah. That's the thing that was fucking up everyone's instruments, like in the planes and sometimes in ships. It would make your instruments go all nutty.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a couple theories, but I don't know if anything's been confirmed.
Government experiments. Doesn't
What
really go
sort of
into
government
detail.
experiments?
These
I know
experiments are said to
Bermudians.
involve
We're not the
technologies
smartest. Not the
that
smartest people.
disrupt the fabric of space and time. Oh. And then sea monsters and giant squids, which we talked about earlier.
That sounds more like it. We actually have at the aquarium on island we have a giant squid, like in a box.
Just chilling in a box.
Bro, it's like preserved in a box.
Oh, it's dead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh no,
It's in the museum. They're not just going to keep it. Just like
I thought you said aquarium.
Yeah. Well, it's both.
you say,
to be
museum.
fair.
Oh, fair.
It's
I
both.
apologise.
So no, it's an aquarium for sure. It's called the Bermuda Aquarium and Zoo, but it's also partially like a museum. And
So
it's
both
in the
right,
museum
but
part.
wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
Spud that.
They have it in they have it in embalming fluid in a giant Ziploc bag. And the giant
A Ziploc bag.
It's a giant Ziploc bag, I swear to God. And then like the bag in itself is in a metal box.
Damn.
Sad part is
How
that
big is this thing?
It's massive. They folded it at least 3 to 4 fucking times. And
That's
the box
so
in itself is 6 feet.
Jesus,
Jeez.
that's big.
Yeah. We also have this thing called the biostation, and also BUEI. Well, biostation is like the Bermuda industry. Well, yeah, it's a science station that studies the ocean and the ocean critters. But BUEI is Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute, and they have a model hanging in their front room of basically the biggest giant squid that I think they've recorded off Bermuda shores.
Damn.
You know how big it was?
It's fucking massive. It's like 3 to 4 school buses long.
Jeez.
Yeah, they get big, man. These are the things that apparently fight, sperm whales in the
So
depths.
it's literally
That's a literal sea
a
monster.
kraken.
Like, yeah, it is literally
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Sea of Thieves stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything like you've not enjoyed? Like obviously you've had some of the
Arrested. I didn't enjoy being arrested, but that was
Oh,
alright.
Well,
done
you
that.
actually got arrested.
Well, they took me into custody. I think nothing became of it, but they
Fair.
had to take me into custody because there was a threat called in. They tried to frame me for having a weapon on campus, a rifle, a gun,
Why?
Did police pull guns?
because
come?
I'm technically ex-military.
Right, I see. The calendar would be great.
So, Shawn, you're obviously a few years older than us, mate.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, don't point it out. But yeah, sure.
No, I'm going to point it out. You old fuck. You old bastard.
Yeah, my knees start to pop. And
You're closer to 30 than you are to being born.
all right. Look, I told you that in confidence, man. Fuck, that actually really does bother me a little.
Oh, he's getting into it. He's getting touchy. But like, if there's anything you like, advice, what sort of advice would you give to like younger people
good
like,
question.
going for like go into their lives? You know, you've obviously had the experience of being a young dad, going away from home, doing stuff, army. You've lived quite an interesting life thus far, compared to a few other people.
I was going to say,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, like, what sort of advice, you know, is it can be in the relationships sphere. We can do that because we had this discussion the other week about us, you know, how we deal with relationships, especially growing up and things like that. So, what sort of advice would you give people in that sense? You know, how to navigate that and, you know, try and grow as people.
Damn, that was deep. I got a couple things I could say.
Yeah,
To
go
people who
ahead,
are like,
take it away.
okay, so to people who are very much introverted, who are afraid to take risks or afraid to like do new things, wacky, wild things. I'm very much one of those people. I don't like to make an ass out of myself. I know, right? Weird. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the way that you might look to other people. 'Cause you will regret it once you get older. You'll regret not dancing in clubs, you know, making an absolute ass out of yourself on a dance floor, maybe throwing shapes that end up causing other people bodily injury. I'm a lanky fuck. I can't help it.
But that's why you stand there and dance like a fridge.
Exactly. Yeah. But you'll you'll regret it. You really will. You got to do shit while you can. 'Cause like you'll get to an age, you know, your knees start to pop. You start making involuntary like groans when you try
I
to get
literally
up
do
and
that
sit
now.
down.
I'm
Yeah.
22.
Fucking A, right? The hangovers will stop being worth it, you know, at some point. And you'll regret taking full advantage of it while you could. I just do it. Any wild, wacky thing that you could think of, do it, bro. The average person lives, what, 80, 90 years? Right?
Yeah.
That's 90 summers, bro. And you...
Shit, yeah. Already lived.
What's like the
20 years.
oldest
20.
memory that you have? Like the earliest memory that you have?
The earliest? Fucking hell. That must be like 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. You start consistently remembering your childhood at around what
Yeah.
age?
Like 5 or 6 in it, surely? Like
Yeah.
4, 5 or 6?
That's 5 or
something
6 of that shit already gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Do wild shit. Worry about it later. Because, like, you'll have the rest of your life to make up for it. Or to, like, you know what I'm saying? Just do it. Unless it's, like, mass shootings. Don't do that.
Definitely don't do that, guys.
Do
Don't
respect
that.
people. You know what I'm saying? But, like, live your life as well.
Fair.
Love
If
that.
you're not causing anyone any harm, there's no real damage in it. Like,
Mm.
you know, just do shit.
Mm.
Get in brawls. Kiss the woman.
Mhm.
Or the man. Whatever. Touch grass. do also like rest. Take time out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Life is important. It's important to try to get that work-life balance. And don't live your life in accordance with what you feel other people expect from you. You do come across, like, you know, there are people that are important to you and you want, you know, to get their approval. Just like, but you got to manage it, bro. Also realize you're your own person, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to live with who it is that you are. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to look back and decide one day or realize one day that you actually hate who you are. And it's too late to fucking change it.
It's true.
Every day is a new opportunity to reinvent yourself. To look at the person in the mirror and decide.
That's the quote.
That's the quote of the day.
That's it.
That was beautiful, man.
Whether or not, like,
Yeah.
I look at myself and I still don't see, like, the dude that everyone else sees. It only takes, like, I have to sit back and really, like, look at it and be like, I might be, like, a very interesting, very unique person. Like, I come from an area in the world that no one fucking knows about.
I didn't know it till now.
Exactly,
Really?
right?
Yeah, honestly.
And it's like, oh, you're such a unique dude. It's like, how? It's like, well, first off, you're in the fucking army. I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a fucking achievement, is it? And they're like, you're trying to be a lawyer. I was like, yeah. It's like, you're a dad. I'm like, yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but
no.
All
kinda
before
interesting.
the age of like 30 as well.
It's
I'm
crazy.
also
man.
like,
when
you know-
when Danny was telling me all these things, I was like,
And I've gone
Holy
across
shit.
the fucking world
yeah.
to just, like, you know, to do
If-
these things.
And you think about like the training drills you go and do in different
yeah.
countries, the camps you get in.
Yeah,
You even think about when you're you know doing your martial arts and training and all of that. You know.
I forget sometimes that most people haven't come face to face with a fucking jaguar before.
Yeah.
I did that. I
Oh.
did that this summer.
Wow.
Really?
It was crazy. Yeah, we went to Guyana, and like
He brought back currency for me.
I did.
It's worth about £2.
Nice.
Yeah,
100.
It's like
dollar
1,000. Yeah, it was a couple of thousand Guyanese dollars. And
It's
he's like,
worth
"What the
£2.
fuck is this?" I was like, "Buy yourself something pretty." And these people at the bar are watching me pull out this wad of cash. I was like, "Oh, I forgot I had this here," and it was £2. And I was like, "Don't go spending it all in one place." It's like, "Where the fuck am I supposed to spend it then?"
My one trip to
go to the
Guyana at
news
some
agents.
point in my
Oh, yeah.
life.
Yeah. Like I went, I go. I'm in such a unique and blessed position, and it's very easy to take that for advantage. Like take that and just be like, yeah, no, I'm not really all that. To undersell yourself, to undersell your experiences, which is why I'm just like, do realize that your life is unique, and and that every day again is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to look at yourself and think, what can I do? What can I do today? What can I do right now that I can look back on, tell my kids or tell like anyone, and it inspire the next generation, or inspire like just some new random stranger and be like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was possible. Oh my God, I didn't
Mm.
And you can talk with people like that. Like last year, winter, right? I spent a lot of time with Charlotte's granddad, and you'd be surprised the caliber of people that you can just bump into, and in such weird places. The guy's a farmer, right? Or used to raise cattle and shit. And I was just helping out with like some yard work because I find him to be very interesting and very like just relaxing to be around. Such like a laid back dude. Like he appreciates honest work, like an honest day's work. And I find that it's there's nothing like it, man. Come from the hustle and bustle of like uni life and like all these assessments and like having to.
You feel like you can get a physical release while still accomplishing something.
Oh my God, yeah! To just be given something to do, and you can spend an entire day just doing these same remedial tasks, but then to physically see like the fruits of your effort at the end of the day. And there's nothing like it, like a nice glass of apple juice while you're watching this fence post that you just done fucking drove into the ground. It's great. And then he just starts talking to me, this guy. He tells me some of his past, and he's looking at me, telling me these things, like how he saw a nuclear reactor melt down with his fucking eyes. He just witnessed the death of a nuclear power plant. And I was like, how are you alive? And he's like, I don't know. Actually, one of my friends died. I watched his face melt.
Jesus.
This dude's telling me these wild experiences. It's like, you mind handing me those pliers? And I was like, not at all. And I'm just like, he's talking about his life like it's some mundane experience. And I realized, I'm like, I do that.
Yeah, you do.
Someone somewhere looks at me the same way I look at this man. And I'm like, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
But you got to realize that it's the exact same for everyone. Like, I look at Danny and, like, I think.
What the fuck is that?
Wait.
No, for real, though, because I know we talk about it all the time, but you got to do, like, a 23andMe or an Ancestry.com test, bro. How? You're not all white. You're Hispanic somewhere. There's got to be. You're a conquistador somewhere.
I didn't think you were white.
Right?
When you first met me?
Yeah, when I first met you.
But I think
I
I didn't think you were mixed. When I
I
first
think
met you.
about, like,
What
what
did you think?
I thought you were mixed when I first met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
what has to happen
Thought it
for
was
someone
what,
to be
just-
so just naturally beautiful?
Oh, I had something. As a dude come up to the bar while I was working this weekend. I think I told you. I haven't told you. It was this dude. He's come up to the bar. He's gone to me. Oh, like you're. This might be really weird, but you're like the hottest guy in Bath. Like I went.
What the fuck?
Use the real term. He calls
Get
it the
away from me.
Oh yeah, sorry.
man.
The prettiest man in Bath. I turned around to him and said, "That's just really far fetched, mate." He was like, "You're seeing things." And he's gone to me. He's like,
No.
"No. I work in an industry
Where?
with a lot of pretty men. I'm married with 4 kids." I'm like, "What?"
He's a gay porn director, and
That's-
he's giving Danny the highest compliment you could
Wait,
ever
really?
give a guy.
No idea. But it's like
Besides, you're really wide, mate. Like, I see you. You've been making some really big improvements.
it's like
in the
it's
gym.
like in the gym. It's like you're looking good, bro. I mean, and it's like that. But he goes to me. He's like, it's like, yeah, you're like the prettiest guy. And I'm like, what?
And he offers him a job.
He doesn't offer me a
tell him
job.
the
But
position.
I was gonna
I
say,
tell him,
did
I
he get
ask
you a
him, what
morning job?
industry are you in? And he goes, trust me.
He offered you
What does
a
that mean?
job. I was like,
I-
I don't know the title of the position. I was like, it's
I give
probably
it- I-
missionary, mate.
I give him the drinks, and he goes, and he just walks off. And I've just stood there like, did that really
What
just
happened?
happen? Oh, I had some weird ones.
I got robbed like immediately upon
Oh, this
getting
fucking
so
into
out of
London.
nowhere.
That was a very fun experience for me. Someone stole my keychain,
Really?
like right from.
With the moment we got off the train, we're walking to the bus stop, waiting for the bus. Another bus comes along. This dude stood there waiting next to us. Sean's like fiddling around with his bag, takes it off. It's like I think he's getting his something out of his bag, like his water bottle, and then his keychain breaks and falls off. And it's like this little keychain is a bottle opener. This dude, and it's literally between his feet, Sean's feet.
And Danny is immediately like, "Yo, you better grab that." I was like, "It's right at my feet. It's fine. I'll pick it up in a minute."
This
And
dude,
so said, so done. As I go to pick this shit up, this dude, who's apparently just got roller skates over his shoulder,
yes,
bends down and just snatches it as I'm like literally inches away from it, and then gets on the bus.
and leaves.
And it happened. It happened so fluently. The bus was just about to pull off. He snatches this shit up, gets on the bus, and the bus pulls off. And I'm like,
They know what they're doing though.
But it's a
Right.
keychain.
Yeah, I get it, but
But
and Danny's like, "Welcome to London, bro." And I'm just like,
it was like Sean stood there. I was like, "Have I just been mugged?
just get robbed.
Did I just get robbed?"
For a
Like,
keychain.
yeah. But then it was when we was coming back from the O2.
Fucking saw the same dude wearing the
No
goddamn
way.
skates.
skating down the street.
And I look at Danny, I'm like,
I'm gonna have to kill him.
I gotta get him. Bro. Like, there's no way I can let him live to tell this story to someone. Like, I just robbed some fucking chump of a keychain. I was like, nah, it's the premise. Fuck this guy. Back home, like, the crime rate is, like, mostly directed towards locals. Like, it's a lot of, like, infighting. Everyone knows everyone, so if someone's slighted, that beef never ends. You hurt someone who then, like, calls on their boys to hurt you, who then calls on their boys to hurt those guys, and it doesn't fucking end. And you can get into beef over the dumbest thing, and it can end with people losing their life.
yeah.
But it's almost like I grew up, and I don't want to be racist. It's not a racist thing, but like the face of like these beefs were almost always people of color. So like I grew up around that, and I see like
But that's just the majority of the population. though.
exactly,
So
and it's not
that's not
correlated, yeah. But like this is what I assume, and then I come here, and like people are afraid of like white guys with ski masks, and I'm like, what?
It was like that little ute. Well, did I just say ute? Where the
You said
fuck did
ute.
that
What
come
the
from?
You
fuck?
did just say you.
The Cockney, bro.
Shit, that's not. I can't even fuck off, mate. It's
Fuck off, mate.
Back off, Mike.
It was in.
Little ute.
He was in the. Shut up. Shut up. He was the one in the middle of like Southgate who turned up and he was trying to make you look at the time or to get your
Yeah.
phone out.
Suffocate in bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, bro, literally rolled up on me and my girlfriends. We were gonna go catch the train. She stopped into her work real quick, and this dude's on my ass. So I like swipe. I go right around like the little roundabout thing, and he cuts me off on the other side. He's all like ski mask, just like doing this. I got my headphones on. I'm just jamming. I'm not in a particularly good mood already, and then dude's just doing this. I'm like, what? It's like, no, like, what do you want from me, bro? And I'm immediately looking around because like Charlotte's just gone into her work and like a spaz.
Left.
She hasn't
Left
she hasn't
him.
fucking said anything to me. So I'm like, what the fuck is this girl? And I say it out loud, and I'm already in a bad mood. Headphones are on, so I haven't heard how loud I'm being. Dude's looking around like, what the fuck? It's like I definitely made eye contact with this dude, and he's just blowing me off. I'm just like, and he turns, he looks at like this other group of dudes down an alleyway who are also ski masked and like puffer jacked, and he's just
Was
like,
it the Bally's?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he just like pulls his hands out of his pocket and it's like a knife in his hand. I was like, is this fucker trying to rob me?
Is this his attempt at
Really?
robbing me?
I was like, and I'm so confused. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll beat you up. But then he turns to these dudes. These dudes look at him and they're like, this never happened to me, bro. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I guess you approach him. It's like, well, if you come here, I'm gonna fucking deck your shit. I'm just irritated. He looks at me. He's like, And he just gives up. Just turns around, puts his hands back in his pocket, and goes towards his
It's a
gang.
scare tactic at the end of the day, isn't it? He's obviously trying to.
guess. I mean,
yeah.
how scary is it when you're asking me?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you're being so polite. Like, British culture can't help but be polite. Even
Try
when
that
you
in
rob.
London,
It's
mate.
like, hey, yo,
Yeah.
do you have the time, bro? Run me your shekels, please. And I'm just like, I can't. I don't find it threatening.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm the opposite. Like, I'm scared of everything. Do you honestly? Like, I think about like knife crime on a daily in Bath. Like, I just don't go out. a
No,
lot.
but people
It's
back
not-
home get shot. So, like, I've gone from that to, like, coming to a country where, like, the biggest thing is knife crime. Like, you guys are literally just, like, sticks and stones. Just, like, clobbing people with
Yeah,
a
but
goddamn
I-
sharp stick. I don't care.
I'd rather get shot than stabbed.
Nah. No, you don't. Have you ever been shot?
No.
That's why you're saying it.
Yeah. to be fair.
You don't want to be shot. That shit stings.
And you've never been stabbed.
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
You can't really compare either.
Yeah, I can't compare it, but I don't know.
Should we get Sean's hypothetical gun, one of my hypothetical machetes, and just stab you?
I actually witnessed that. It was a
Shoot.
thing during COVID, like, because of,
Hmm.
army and security work, I was able to, like, still travel. So I went to go visit Nathan. You remember Nathan? Fucking unit, if you ever hear this.
Shout out to Nathan.
Shout out to Nathan, bro.
My brother, shut up, yeah.
Hit the horn. Shout out to Nathan, bro.
Fire the booth!
But yeah,
Does it every time.
Yeah.
I went to visit him. He stayed nearby the base, so I went to go say hi and shit. And we were hanging for a bit, and we were hanging out by like one of the schools after hours, and we were just chilling out in the yard on our bikes and shit. And these two dudes pull up with like umbrellas in their hands. It's just walking around. First thing to tip me off. Summer.
It wasn't raining.
Fucking rain.
Why have you got an umbrella?
And it's like middle of the night, clear skies. You can't see a goddamn goddamn cloud anywhere. I'm like, okay, weird. Secondly, it's the fucking bravado that he just immediately starts giving off these two dudes. And it's like, oh, what, you're hanging around school grounds? It's just you two dudes. Like, what, are you gay? Get some bitches. And it's like, you know Nathan. He doesn't give a fuck. I immediately am like, yeah, just don't start like any shit because you know
Yeah,
these
Nathan
guys
will
around
scrap
these spots.
anything.
And he's just like, good point. Counterpoint. You're two dudes walking in the exact same schoolyard, no bitches. To them.
Yeah.
Immediately, it was like, well, you don't have bitches either. It's just like, so where's your point? And this dude just like stops, like, what you say? What you say, mate? It's like, well, you want to start something? It's like, not really, but like, if you're coming over here, I'll whoop your ass. I really will. I have no qualms about beating the fuck out of you tonight. I actually kind of need it. It's therapeutic. And he's just chatting pure shit. And then this dude like drops his umbrella, right? Shetty falls out.
Mm.
Looks at the Shetty, looks at us, and we're just like, guess we'll leave. Picks up his machete. He's like, don't be here when I get back.
Where's
Me,
he coming?
He's gone back to get like 7 other dudes.
Really?
Says 2 dudes. There's now 9. But in my mind, I'm just like, okay, cool. So we're bouncing, right? Immediately. Nathan, out of pure spite. Nope. I want to see what he's going to do. What do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, don't be here when I get back. What, is he bringing a party? Like, is he bringing a bottle or 2? Come on, let's wait. Let's wait. Nathan's fucking psycho. Absolutely insane. So we leave, and as we're leaving to go through the gate on our bikes and shit, right? Dude comes back, 8 other dudes. And they're all got umbrellas.
Oh dear.
They see us, they're like, yeah, all right. And then we just pull off. Get back to Nathan's, which is right around the corner. About a half hour goes by. I'm wrenching him about being a dickhead and trying to like endanger our lives over some petty fucking bullshit. Yeah. And then like we start to hear like shouting going on. Some woman shouting, dogs barking and shit, which isn't like abnormal. People have like arguments and shit all the time. What really fucks with me is that the shouting turns to screaming.
Shit.
The dog's barks get more and more like
Women.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then it whimpers and goes quiet. That doesn't happen.
Mhm.
Nathan, one of our friends, someone who's very dear to us, lives in the direction of where all of the shouting is coming from. And he's like, yeah, no, we have to check to make sure they're all right. Goes into the house, comes out, pulls out this very dull meat cleaver and a fishing knife, which is about yay long. Gives me the goddamn fishing knife, because of course. It's like, okay, we're going to go see what the fuck's going on. I was like, why? Why? And it's probably the same dudes. Lo and behold, it is. It's the same dudes. So it turns out these dudes are on patrol, and they weren't even looking for us to begin with. They just so happened to be out and like wanted to start beef. They chopped up this woman and her mans for some petty gang thing, and then chopped the dog as well.
Oh my god.
And that's what me and Nathan walked in on.
Wait, you mean chopped up as in like stabbed or like actually chopped
Cut
up?
up.
It was a machete, wasn't it? So
It was
Hacked
like
them to
9
pieces,
dudes with
mate.
machetes,
Yeah.
and they're just like, shh.
What? In Bermuda now? Jesus Christ.
jeez.
And here's Nathan coming up around the fucking corner. He's like, hey, yo, what's going on? With a dull ass meat cleaver.
What is wrong
maybe
with
like this long.
Jesus.
you got your little
It's a
knife.
kitchen knife. And I'm just like, I am going to die here. And it's all your fucking fault.
Mm.
And he's looking at these dudes who are looking at him. They're all got machetes. They're all like, we're watching them commit a crime. And I'm like, yo, so I called the cops. So don't move. And they just like, fuck. They just scatter. Lo and behold, that's the only thing I could think of to say to save my ass. I hadn't, however, called the cops.
Mm.
But sirens are going off because like they have pulled up. Someone somewhere, thank God, did. But I'm just like, okay, so it's like, is this good enough for you, Nate? And he's just looking at me. He's like, well, it's not the house that I thought it was coming from, so I guess we can leave. I'm like, so I'm used to shit like this. I understand. I want to respect the culture. And I want to respect that you guys
it's such a
find these
shit
dudes
culture.
terrifying.
I don't
But in
fight.
perspective,
You're from London.
it's child's play.
Yeah.
It really is. There's nothing to it.
Fair.
Mate,
I don't know, being from Wales and like nothing really happens in Wales like,
Oh man,
like
the
that.
sheep they die under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, but
it's really weird when you wake up in bed with one of them as well, Ty. What's going on there, mate?
just fuck off.
There's blood and fluff everywhere.
Blood and fluff.
But yeah, I think when it comes to that, I think it's just a lot of like UK gang culture.
I don't know where to spot it, and I think that's my issue.
Mm.
Is that like I look around and I just think like, oh, it's just some wannabe white guy.
Well, as you look at like the high populated areas, like London and things like that.
Like you took me back to your hometown, bro, and like even in Lewisham, right? And like apparently it's a really dodgy place, but
Yeah.
I've never felt so at home.
but
I ain't gonna lie. We went out nights.
It's
and
'cause it's
everything,
like,
it was whatever.
a big melting pot though as well of culture as well.
Yeah.
So that's where you see some problems with it.
Yeah.
It's like
I saw a crackhead and I was like, huh, I really have not left home, have I?
no, it's like, but even then, it's like when we've had stuff go on at home. You know, we've had like murders down our road where we live. We've had, like places like that, like weed farms and things like that, get raided by the police at like 2 a.m. And me and my brother are sat there at the window, just like
Watching it.
fucking
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And fucking,
That's another thing.
we've lost like people we've grown up with, and
I was going to touch on that. That's another thing I'm noticing. This is why I'm telling people, like, you know, do what you can while you can and enjoy the company in which you keep while you can.
because you never know when it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stopped being, like, the dudes from generations above me, like, you know, big men that I
Now
used
it's
to look
us.
up. And now, I'm noticing, like, I'm looking at the paper, I'm hearing the news back home, and it stopped being people that I don't know, people either older than me, and it's starting to be people my age or my brother's age, younger than me now, that are all dying in either road traffic accidents or they're dying because of some stupid gang-related shit. It happened to my cousin. Like, they pulled up on this dude who apparently robbed some other guy, and they stabbed him to death. They stabbed this dude to death at a gas station, and my cousin was attending the pump. Jesus. And this dude died in his arms.
Jesus Christ.
And I pulled up on it. That was the crazy part, is that, like, I was leaving work, and I crossed it, and I see, like, my big boss, like, my boss's boss, outside the gas station, all these cop cars going across. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I see my cousin, he's covered in fucking blood. And I'm like, what the fuck's happened? And he's just crying, holding this dude.
I can imagine that's quite damaging for the brain.
Seeing death is frightening because it's something like you can't comprehend.
But it's seeing death in that way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's so different
forcibly
to
taken.
Yeah, if you're like seeing, I don't know, like your grandparent on the deathbed or something,
Like we
and you
touched
know
on,
it's
yeah.
gonna, you know it's gonna happen. But like something like that is just
That's
on
different
another
as
level.
well. And to be honest, like I wouldn't wish either of them
no, of course
Mm.
not.
because we've
But
been there. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
it doesn't stop the grief.
Right.
Watching someone slowly die. If anything, it's a little bit more painstaking.
Just not
because now-
expecting it or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. But like having it just dropped on you abruptly, like people like to say that the media nowadays, like the movies and stuff, because of how realistic they are, they're desensitizing us to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have never actually experienced death firsthand.
Mm.
It doesn't. There's nothing that can prepare you for it. Because it's all one thing to see it, but to fully immerse yourself in it,
Don't get me wrong.
the
I've seen, like,
feeling of blood in your hands, like the warmth of someone's life essence just dripping out of them, like the nerves, like the fact that you can't stop shaking,
Yeah.
that you can't get a coherent thought, and that like everything that you thought you'd do or act like prior to the situation just flushes out, and like you're a mess. You're a fucking mess of just terror, anxiety, fucking hormones rushing through you.
I've seen
And
quite
it's not
a few,
even
like,
you half the time, and it's the
Yeah.
people that it's happening to, and you can only imagine what it's like to watch someone go through their final moments
Yeah.
and trying to piece it together. That's the worst part. It's like witnessing it and witnessing someone else not knowing they're about to die.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh,
See, like I broke my leg in like a vehicle accident. I was like I was riding my bike. I was like motorcycle, and I got T-boned by a car, and I went over the car. The bike went under, and the one saving grace, the one thing that your body does that saves you from it all is that it rushes you with so much adrenaline immediately that you don't feel fucked.
Yeah.
Because like the dude immediately from the car cusses me out. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like fucking dumbass ran on the fucking middle of the fucking road. And I'm just like, okay, now I have to deck this dude. I get up, take my helmet off, and I go to fucking swing on him. I take my first fucking step with my right foot. Leg immediately slides over itself. And I'm like, huh. Guess I'm not walking. And I sit the fuck down. I was like, fuck.
It's that video.
And I
of
throw
Vin-
my helmet. And I'm
It's
just
like
like,
a video of Vince McMahon getting into the ring and he tears both fucking hamstrings and he sat there shouting at him.
yeah,
on the
and
floor.
dude's cussing me out. And I was like, fuck you, bro. And he was all like, oh, wait, you're right? I was like, no, this is definitely broken. I'm watching like my shin, which should be straight, bend like an accordion.
Oh my god.
I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this is broken. But you don't feel fucked.
Yeah. Well, when I broke my arm, because if you don't know, I broke my arm wrestling.
That's a fear.
Yeah. I'll show you. Give me a sec. I have like a scar. Like
Yeah.
8-inch scar, maybe 6-inch, 7-inch.
What's the wildest excuse you've used?
Crazy.
Oh, I literally just was arm wrestling. Yeah, that's such a.
You got to be more creative.
Well, he gave it up as a story on the first podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be more creative from now on.
I was
man.
fighting a bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fought a jaguar, maybe. Yeah. fuck.
Yeah, but now I have like a 7-inch plate in my arm for life.
Yeah.
Have you killed anybody?
Hey?
In like the military, like, or not?
Cut this in.
That is something we cannot unclassify. Yeah.
I can't discuss the goings on within the military.
Okay,
No, I haven't killed anyone.
fair enough.
No. I've fucked up a couple targets. That's for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a really good shot.
Fair enough.
Not to toot my own horn, but yeah,
Mm.
I'm not the best, of course. But like, yeah,
Why did you join in the first place? Why did you want to join? That was it.
I was fresh out of high school, man. I had no really prospects. Like, my scholarship had just ended for high school, so I went private school, and then it wasn't going to be renewed for my university experience. I was really sick of the school experience up
Yeah.
to that point, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just join the army." It's what people do.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You got no real prospects, and you go for whatever pays the most. And it's almost always in every country, the military, for like high school graduates. So, yeah, did that.
Fair enough.
And it was a great experience. It still, to this day, remains a really, really good experience.
Fair enough.
Like, I'm not by any means like as impressive as like people in A company or like, you know, the fucking the real units of the military. But like it's taken me places and I've got to like act in roles of which I can be very proud very proud of, and I've made really, really good friends and like family through the goddamn military.
Fair.
Would you ever go back, like, after
Oh, I go back
uni
every
stuff?
summer.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I work with them still. Like, I'm in this real weird, unique position where like they take me back. I passed all my mats and everything, all my like mandatory tests and stuff, and I can still go on like these excursions where we work with other countries in order to keep like good relations. Like we work with the U.S. and stuff. Like when I went Guyana this summer gone, it was a multinational like experience, get together. It was like between all of the Caribbean, the U.S., the U.K. It's like a bunch of different nations. We all came together, sent units over, and we worked together as a team. So yeah,
Wicked.
You could always. It's always good to, I think, end on one of these sort of questions. It's like, what is something that you wish to be somewhat remembered for? Like, what's a good thing you'd like to have an impact on in life, whether it be small, large, something in your career? Like, what is that sort of?
Because my thing isn't so much career-wise, so much as it is, like, again, a lot of what I do is for my kid. So I want to be remembered by my kid as a superhero for as long as possible. Like, when he says, yeah, my dad, I want him to, like, spark. I want a spark in his eyes to be like, oh, my dad could beat up your dad. And like, my dad will make your dad go missing. Like, I want to be my kid's superhero, man, for as long as possible. When he thinks about me, I want him to think about me not as a man, but as, like, a fucking goddamn. It's like something that only he can achieve. It's like, yeah, no one can touch my pops. Not to say I don't want my son to think of me as, like, a person, because, like, I do have my faults, but I want him to think of me, like, when he thinks of his dad, it's just like, yeah, my dad does have, like, kryptonite, like Superman has kryptonite. But, you know, like, he rises above his shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that guy. I want to be the dude that my son looks at and be like, it's like, that's a real man. And then on top of that, be like, I'm going to beat him one day.
You want him to be like the Damian Wayne to your
I'm
Batman.
going to oh my God, my kid, Zay's going to hate me at some point in his life because I'm going to be like, nah, you don't get to be me, bro. You have to be better than me.
Yeah.
Fair.
Love that.
Well,
Nice.
I think this has been a really
Solid
fun
fucking
episode.
podcast.
I
That
think
was
this has
good.
been really
You've been great, man. You've been
Honestly,
great.
cheers, mate.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thanks for
Thanks
having me,
for coming,
man.
yeah.
It's just really cool to be able to get together with the squad
I
and just
know.
be able to talk to, like, the boys.
Yeah. The lads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so obviously you're not met JJ, haven't seen Ty for a while.
Yeah,
so
Well,
it's been
time.
some time.
Yeah.
I think you've left a good impression on these two. I know,
Definitely.
Yeah,
I know,
100%.
I know you've always had a good impression on me. I mean, big brother sort of figure in it, you dick.
No. Good impression, bad influence.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. But yeah, yeah. Let us know. Rewind. I do it every time. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. Yeah, comment. You know, subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Spotify
And Amazon.
and Amazon.
Amazon
now.
and
Oh,
I'm working.
shit.
I'm working on Apple Podcasts as well.
And
It's
Apple
coming. It's
Podcasts.
coming
You guys
soon.
have
Amazon and Apple Podcasts. Go on.
Do you have, like, a comment section or something? Or, like,
We
fans
do.
reach
Yeah,
out?
on
YouTube.
YouTube, Spotify.
All
Send in some comments as to your theories about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Anything,
that's a great
He'll be
one.
back soon.
I think we'll get Shawnee back on.
Yeah,
Shawn,
yeah, definitely.
Shawn Burgess life update. I like that.
I'd love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
man.
great.
Yeah, man. But yeah, keep in touch with us on any social media we're on, and I hope you lot have a lovely week going forward. Released on Friday tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or-
Friday tomorrow.
So in that case, have a lovely weekend and peace and love.
See you later, guys.
Bye bye.
Take care.